creating a glow effect with frankly anything. We're going to use this raspberries as a start. So we're going to go right into Photoshop, new. We're going to just stick to our standard 8.5 by 11, horizontal 300. We'll pretend we're going to print and we'll say create. Then we're going to place embed and look for this raspberry file that you should have downloaded. Mine is still actually in the desktop. Ooh, here we go. And hit place, and then I'm just command minusing to zoom out a little bit. And then depending on your Photoshop version, you may need to hit shift or not so that you don't get weird squishes. So I'm hitting shift, although some of their properties are not. Okay, so we've got this. At this point, it's always a good time to save. I like to save. I'm going to save on my computer. This is actually on the school computer. Whoop, desktop, Brenda, Photoshop. Oops, I don't want a PDF. I want Photoshop, and I want it to be Brenda Raspberry Glow. Okay. Glowing raspberry, sorry, make that the right one. Okay, so we're just gonna make a duplicate of this guy, hide him and call him original so we know he's there. And we're gonna work off of this one. So first we're gonna make a little bit of a selection. There's lots of ways to make selections. So depending on your object, maybe test a few means and then dive in. I'm gonna try with the plus sign, not the minus. I hate how this gets in my way. I'm going to use the quick select this way too. That went pretty well for me. And then I can always minus the little pieces out if you get anything weird like that. No big deal. Okay. I'm then going to Command J to get an additional of this. I'm going to recall this one raspberries, background, and I'm going to call this one single raspberry. Geez, make sure you're spelling things right. Okay, so essentially we're going to tone down the background with the levels, and we're going to beef up a few layers of a sort of glowy look using blur and changing the layer type. And this is just one way of doing things. So first we'll darken our background. Go in, we're going to grab a levels, and then we're just going to start adjusting. We want these to look really dark, but very nice and saturated still. Sometimes I glance at my gray tones. They're pretty good, and hit OK. Cool. I don't have anything else happening, or I could clip this on, but either way. And then we've got this one single guy up here, right? So he's fine. We're going to do a few things. We're going to start with kind of a regular layer with a blur and then beef him up with a few different things and try some linear dodge layers. So let's go to filter, convert him to smart, hit OK. That's fine. Let's go filter, blur, and just add a Gaussian blur. And we're going to beef it up a lot. Like, we want kind of a lot of blur at this point, not that much. And that's okay. I'm just looking around at this edge. I'm not looking at the middle. I'm just looking around at the edge, and that's not bad for now. Let's duplicate. Now we've got this additional one. This time let's turn it to a linear dodge. And let's now beef down this, like we're like, whoa, that's way too much blur. So let's take it down a notch. See what's happening. That starts to look really nice, but I do need some more blur. And now I'm looking back again at kind of this part, and I'm not even looking here. I can always go back in and fix him. So I like him pretty blurred so far. Let's go in and make a duplicate, but this time let's turn it down so I can see details on the very top. So bring him down and now see where we're starting to get with this. Bring him down to where he starts to look better. at this point you can, because you've made these smart, you can always adjust them. Like, do you need more blur? Do you need less? Like, when it's got less, what does it look like? What does it look like when it's a little bit more? You start to get a decent look. And this does start to look, details, cool, blur, much more blur, a little bit of just a baseline blur at a normal, and then we've got like our dark back there. But like, it needs something to help it all tie together. The thing I like frequently is just a color layer. So let's go hue saturation, but let's do this guy just a little bit different. Let's colorize. Let's saturate. Oof. And then let's see, you could make him anything, but see how he glows no matter what, which is really nice. Let's make these really juicy. No. And then let's come in here and just barely turn that down some. And see how we really start to get like a nice glowing look. And he doesn't have to be so much. See how he starts to like really help this guy like look the same. Okay, next thing that I would do is this layer's gotten so dark, and if this guy was really glowing, he would cast a little bit of glow onto these. So let's customize this mask just a little bit to really make this look glowy. So get black, blurry, you know, you can go in ham, but you're probably better off going a little bit lighter and a little bit bigger. So I'm using my bracket. And then let's just paint back in some, just custom. Just focus on those sides that would be shown from this guy and glowing. And maybe even a little bit at the bottom. All right, so now we start to get, we went from, let's group this whole guy, just, you don't have to do this part, but let's just look at it. We went from this to this, and we've got a single glow. Now you could bring in some more of these glows, you could brighten them, you can do a few more glows. They start to really make a neat effect when you kind of layer them on top of each other. But look how you go from just regular to like dark, saturated, and one's got some glow onto it. So I hope that helps. Let me know if you have any questions.